everyone, welcome back to our channel. Thank you so much for joining us. Dyon here from Beadly speaking. You see I got a whole bunch of people with me this time. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. I'm stuttering. I'm so excited. I'm stuttering already. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so. Today's episode is so awesome. It's about our support system. So, a lot of you have spoken up about not having the support that you need. Luckily for me, or should I say I'm blessed to have a lot of people who support me, and I have 3 of them here today: Constance, Shayla, and Natasha, who have helped me throughout my journey with lupus. It's been a lot of ups and downs, but they've helped me, and they're all from different industries, and their expertise in their area have helped me to heal in so many ways. And I'm just going to jump in it and let you ladies just tell a little bit about what you do, and then we'll talk more about how you've been able to help me throughout my journey. Constance?
Oh my goodness. It's hot, right?
Well, why not? Come on, let's get in it, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I'm Constance. I'm a financial coach and an insurance broker. And I was just trying to think of when we met. I actually put it in my calendar, your name, and started going all the way back. So 2011 was when we met.
But it still feel like forever though.
It do, right? So 2011, I was trying to help you with like your website and your marketing and stuff way back then.
That's when I actually started selling my jewelry, because
Yes.
I was giving it away
Yes.
before that, and he was like, "Are you crazy?"
Right. You gotta monetize. Because at the time I had my business consulting company up, and so I was trying to help her figure out how to put her jewelry out there because I thought it was magnificent. And I was like, people need to see this. This is all handmade. This was when the handmade stuff was really popping, and so I'm like, wow, we can really get this going. So that's how I originally met her. And then you were doing the All Things Pink.
Yes, the breast cancer.
Right. So, and even though I had family members who had passed from cancer, it was a different kind of cancer. So my grandmother was colorectal cancer. My stepfather was brain cancer. My great aunt was breast cancer. But I had not been out advocating or anything. I just was like, wow, that was sad, and whatever. So when you started doing your events, it was like, okay. So I started coming learning about cancer, and then I heard about your mom, and it's just like Dyon has introduced me to so many people that are like my BFFs to this day. Like we just organically gel, like birds of feather flock together. Good spirited people, like I would show up to all her events and meet new people, and I'm like, okay, that's gonna be my friend. That's gonna be my friend. I like her, right? And I would be learning so much. So I feel like you've opened up way many doors than I could have ever imagined. Not just for my business, but personally. Like I met some really good sisters over the last couple of years from you.
Wow.
So I'm supposed to be helping you. Okay, so how I help?
Wait a minute, before you get into that, let me let them go ahead and tell what they do.
So my name is Shayla, and I'm a social worker. I have been a social worker for 16 years. Primarily working with children and families, and so I have worked in the entire spectrum of children's services: adoptions, foster care, children searching for their birth parents, vice versa, all types of counseling. I've worked with children who are incarcerated, so I've worked with kids. That's been my primary career, and then their families as well by default.
And she has helped me to not get incarcerated.
I don't want her to go to jail. That's not the goal. That is not the goal. So how do I know Dyon? I've known Dyon since 1993. I'm just going to put it out there because we still look good for how old we are. I'm not even embarrassed or ashamed about it. 1993. We both went to the best high school in the entire world, Baltimore City College High School. Right. And so we met there as freshmen, and we have maintained a friendship ever since then. There have been different times where maybe we weren't as connected, but in the latter years, the most recent years, I would say that we have really kind of built our friendship, and our relationship and friendship has deepened and grown in a lot of ways. You shut your face right now.
And this is pretty much our relationship.
I have fed her. My family has fed her. She has fed me. That's just kind of how it rolls. That's how we roll.
They throw down. God bless them. Yes. Amen. Hallelujah. Yes. And they pray over you.
Listen,
amen.
You will come to my house and get a prayer, all right?
A prayer and a meal. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tasha.
All right. So my name is Natasha, and I met Dyon. Oh my gosh, probably like in the early 2000s. We met at an event, and we were partnered up together at an event, and we connected like right then and there, and we stayed in contact, and we keep each other accountable through so many things. But I own my own spa business of doing mobile pampering with Nurture by Natasha. So she comes to me when she needs some pampering and need, to get back in alignment and things like that. So, we pray for each other. We share our thoughts and our dreams and our aspirations, and, even sometimes, like, we laugh and we cry all at the same time. But, all in all,
everybody know I'm a crybaby now.
Yeah, we hold each other accountable with a lot of things, and she's a phenomenal friend.
Thank you. Yes, we do hold each other accountable. As a matter of fact, I sent her the water challenge.
Yes.
It's like it shows you. It's this chart. It shows you.
I didn't join that.
Yeah, she did not join. I sent her the same thing. She did not join. It shows you your weight.
Send it to me.
Your weight and how much water you're supposed to drink per day. And I was like, I ain't gonna be able to do no 100 and something ounces a day. But Tasha was texting me every day like, "Did you drink your water?" I was like, "Nah." Then she'll text me, "No." So then I was like, all right, if she gonna text every day, I might as well. Like, dang, she's so persistent. So then, by the way, today I've had 2.5 bottles. So I'm on the roll.
Okay, all right.
Progress. Slow progress is progress. So that's what she means by accountability. Yeah, she's serious. If you want somebody to be all up in your grits, yeah, that's her. So they hold me accountable to just about everything I say I'm going to do, which is why sometimes I don't say anything.
So that maybe got called you more.
No. I can't go MIA because if I don't say anything for maybe a day or two, I feel like they're gonna send the police to my house, and they're just as bad as my mom. Like, I try not to go MIA because it could get real. And this is just 3, so it's more.
Yeah.
It's way more, and let's just say they don't play about me. So it gets real. But I want to ask you, ladies, what was it like watching me go through this whole lupus journey? As a matter of fact, the initial diagnosis came the day before the breast cancer event in 2013. And I remember, so I organized this big event, right? And it was October 18th, 2013. I went to the doctor that Friday morning. I'll never do another 8 o'clock appointment just because of that. I went to the doctor's that Friday morning, and I was told that I was diagnosed with lupus. The breast cancer event was the next day. I didn't even have time to process the whole thing. And when I told Constance, I was like, yeah, so we gotta get this whole thing together. And she was on the phone for a second, like a little bit quiet. And then she was like, okay, well, just let me know what you need me to bring. And, and Shayla was like, all right, what time do you need me to meet you at the event? And I was just like, all right, I guess they're gonna roll whatever I roll with. I'm not sad, they not sad.
Right.
But I try to bury that feeling because I'm like, I got stuff to do. Like, I got kingdom business. This ain't even my business. I got stuff to do. So what was that experience like for y'all for the last 5 years watching me go through this? And whoever want to start first.
I'll start. When I remember, I think you had given me a call or you had shot me a text and was like, hey, we need to talk. And then once you had said it to me, and I just was like, wow, like what can I do? And I just said, I'll call you every day. And we began to use the Umail apps. And I would send you Bible scriptures every day to encourage you. I got goosebumps along the way of, just to let you know that I was thinking of you.
Y'all ain't gonna make me cry.
Yeah, okay, I'm done.
think for me, we were talking before you even knew what it was. And so as a friend, I was worried all the time. And I think before the breast cancer event, you did an event with my previous employer. And that's when you were ramping up, doing the vending events. And you came out and you were still sharing how you didn't know what it was. There was another new diagnosis of something else. And it was just trying to put the puzzle together. And so being concerned about all the other things that were impacting your life at the time. And then for me, it just represented one more thing. And as a friend, not even knowing what it was or how to help, it just was a very scary, unnerving place to be.
Yeah.
And to be quite honest, whenever you were called, my fear was, you're going to tell me there's something else wrong. And then not learning eventually, once you told me what it was actually a relief, because at least we knew what it was. Because prior to that, it was like 4 or 5 different diagnoses of different things. And I was like, what in the world? Like, what's happening to my friend? But now that we had this umbrella disease and we were able to know, I was relieved. You know, no one's happy to hear that their friend has any kind of illness.
Right, I get what you mean.
But it was a relief.
I was relieved.
Yeah, at least, okay, we know what it is, because this is crazy. Like, what's going on? So it was relief for me. And then it kind of was like, okay, what do we do? Like, how can I support you? How can I help you? What needs to happen to make sure that your life remains as productive as possible? Because I really, apart from you, there was only one other person I knew who had lupus. And she just did not manage her lupus well. So I never had a positive experience of knowing someone with lupus. And perhaps I just didn't know they had lupus.
Right.
But the person that I knew who had it did not manage their diagnosis well. So I knew that there were things that you could do. So I really have learned just a lot from you during this journey.
Yeah, took all my answers.
I'm so
and
sorry.
I
I'm sorry.
was sitting here shaking my head like,
Ditto.
But yeah, I mean, I have a background in healthcare, so before I got into finance and everything, I was working in medical offices, and one of my doctors that I supported was a rheumatologist who deals with, you know, ANAs and lupus and rheumatoid arthritis and all these things. So I definitely dealt with it from a clinical perspective. Those people used to be in so much pain, like they needed their refills, like it was a big deal.
Listen,
So-
I will fight you in the early stage.
I mean, it was bad. Like, and I also, and it was funny because I supported 3 doctors. 2 were internists, you know, PCP, and then 1 was a specialist, which was the rheumatologist. And so I saw every type of medication come across that desk, from common cold, cough, and flu to, hey, you got lupus, you know what I'm saying, or Sjögren's disorder, whatever it is. Sjögren's.
Because remember, right after lupus came Sjögren's, and then stage 3 kidney disease, and then the thyroid.
And then a lot of their symptoms overlap.
Yep.
So it's like you really don't know what it is. So you've got to be able to, you know, dialogue whatever it is you're going through, so that you can pinpoint and not give you medicine for this one. It's supposed to be for that one, and that's frustrating for a patient, you know, because you just want to know what it is, so it can be treated and done with, right? So my whole role in this whole process was, I knew some parts about it, but then because you've always been pretty open and letting people know what's happening, the transparency helped me learn more. You get what I'm saying? My whole thing was trying to be an inspiration, trying to keep your head up, you know, trying to keep you focused on the word, what the word says.
Y'all fed me good with the word. I was like, God don't love me no more. He don't even care. He got me down here, limping. I'm out here. People offering me wheelchair, and I'm ready to cuss them out. Y'all know my tongue is light and sharp. I'm ready to cut you with this tongue.
Cut these people.
I'm about to get cut. Like, I don't want to hear nobody telling me to put my hands on me and pray over myself and anoint myself. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
But when y'all say it, I know it's coming from a different place, you know.
And then too, you might feel like a lot of people don't understand, right?
Yeah.
Because even though we could read and Google some stuff, we've never felt that in our lives.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So when it's time to go somewhere or do some event or be someplace, you might be in pain that day. You know what I'm saying? And then you got to decide, do I take these pills and suck it up and go, or are they going to understand? So, you know, just that aspect of just being transparent, and even with your show and everything, it's letting people know that, okay, you're going to go through many stages, but you got to have some support, like, it's key.
Yeah. And speaking of support, I know part of it, for me, especially working with you, I still wanted to make jewelry, and I still wanted to go out and sell and set up at shows, and I had to humble myself and like had that conversation with myself, like, you gotta chill. I still wanted to do it. I still saw myself as that person that could handle all of that, and like we had to come up with some type of plan to say, okay, you want to do all these things, but you might have to take a break. I didn't want to take that hit in business. I didn't want to take a break. I was like, if you take a break too long, people forget about who you are. And I remember, you know, us talking about, you know, ways that I could still remain relevant. You know, it's like you're in a business where everybody now is popping up making jewelry. And but their story is not the same as mine, and you had to remind me of, you know, having that marketing background. You had to remind me, like, they don't have what you had.
Your story sells.
Your story sells better than theirs. Like, you started making jewelry not because it's trendy, not because it's fashionable, not even because it's fashion. You started making jewelry because you were trying to save your mom's life, and you did just that. And that conversation alone was helpful in me putting jewelry down for a minute. Because my hands would hurt so bad, and I would still force myself to do it. And ironically, I made the most beautiful pieces during that time. You know, but that conversation was so powerful because I was still chasing that dollar. Like, I gotta make these pieces, I gotta bang them out because I'm trying to get that money. But you were like, you know, health comes first. And that conversation alone was like, okay, I'm good with this. I need to chill.
And people like the underdog story. You get what I'm saying? So even if, and you've been authentic, but you know, to have to sit down for health reasons, but then have a major comeback and be authentic about it and be like, hey y'all, I love doing what I do, but you know, my health was challenged. And so now I'm back. And look at what I got now. You know what I mean? People are like, let me see it. What you got? You know, they riding with you. So I'm like, don't see it as like, oh Lord, they're not gonna remember me. Because you've added so many new followers since then. You know what I mean? And the people
I started a YouTube channel.
Your riders gonna continue to ride, you know, and support that. So I say tell that story.
Yeah. And also, in the area of like personal finances, we talked about, you know, just getting back on track and having a financial plan, because I had so much shame about not having that. I used to be a financial coach, and I was licensed in the state of Maryland as a life insurance agent. And I think Constance and I might have been licensed around the same time. And I let my license lapse. So anyway, this was before I got diagnosed with lupus, and I had to file bankruptcy. So for me to be in a situation where my finances wasn't straight, I had so much shame about that. And you know, her being in a position where that's her line of work still, she was able to help me to overcome that shame. And pride, man, pride can rob you of so much.
That's true.
And that helps me all the time now, because I think about that, like, you know, so many people are going through the same thing.
That's true.
It doesn't matter what their industry is, just be, you know, whether they have lack of money in whatever area, it doesn't stop you from having a financial plan.
Right.
And this is what she specializes in, helping people get their finances in order. And I want to thank you for that, because I'm telling you, like, shame can rob you of so much, and that is so helpful.
And then too, considering the fact of when you got your insurance, you didn't have lupus.
That's a big deal. I'm glad you pointed that out.
Once you get a condition like that, what they would consider a chronic condition, if you had let it lapse and then found out that you got this, try to go get it in that condition, right? If somebody picks you up, it's going to be rated or more expensive. right? So she had the wherewithal to keep her stuff intact, not knowing, right, that she's gonna get ill.
Sure.
But that's a part of the consistency of your plan, is that I'm gonna keep this because I knew what I got it for in the first place. And yes, if I get cancer, stroke, heart attack, whatever, it doesn't matter, right? I'm gonna keep this because they're gonna pay it out in the end. But if I cut it off and then try to get it back, number one, I'm older. Number two, I got new health problems. So that's what I be trying to tell these young people that don't want to, oh, I'll wait. You know, I'm not really, you know, I don't have no benefits on my job and all this type of stuff. Like, you better lock that in while you're young and healthy and keep that thing, because you can ride that out for 30, 40, 50 years and be paying the same premium.
Yep.
But if you let it go, now you're going to have to contend with whatever your current health conditions are and your current age. And maybe now you got a spouse and some kids to throw on there too. And now, right? So that's the other piece of, you know, you have financial challenges, but you got to rework that plan all the time. You know, when stuff happens, look at your plan. Do I need to adjust anything? I'm good.
I'll miss a couple meals and make sure my life insurance is paid. Because what's not gonna happen is a GoFundMe when I leave here. It's no. I told you I'm a little proud. I'm just saying, like, I'm working on it. God is really working on that with me, and I know I've shared on my channel also about, you know, going through bouts of depression, and it's so crazy because I always think of Shayla as just my friend, and like
Not the professional. That's your heart.
It's not discrediting the line of work that she's in by no means. It's like when you have friends who are in certain industries and you used to being so open and transparent. I like when I'm talking to Constance, I'm not like, oh, here, bring out your financial side. It's just a conversation. When I'm talking to Shayla, it's like, girl, bring out the therapist. No, I'm talking because I'm talking. That's my friend.
That's true.
But I know a lot of times when I say stuff to Shayla, I don't even really think about it, and she'll bring it up later, and I'm like, when I say that?
Right? Did I say too much?
I'm like, what?
I know, right?
Like she's like analyzing, and you know, and I mean that's a good thing because sometimes we overlook stuff.
Sure.
And you'll bring up something later, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good point, and you'll help me break something down that I totally miss, or I might be having like a series of negative conversations with myself, and it becomes outside of myself, and you'll check me, and I'm like, I don't want to hear that ish. And you know, and I'm ready to go off, and you're like, nah, listen.
And I think though, just to kind of free you up from that, it's human nature for us to focus on the negative aspects of ourselves. And so that's not necessarily related to anything about lupus. That's just our human nature. Like, we focus on the negative, and it takes oftentimes other people to say, you know what? Yeah, you got all of that. But this is what you're doing positive.
Yes.
Even as it relates to when you were sharing with Constance about the struggle you had maybe about stepping back from your business. Even now in this season, acknowledging that you need help. You know, there have been times where you've said, hey, I got a vending event, I need somebody to come with me. And that wasn't always the case. You would try to carry all 1,500 of them bags,
the 10
and set up
and the
everything.
60 million bags.
And so now you're at a place where you're able to say, hey, I need help.
Right.
And that takes a lot, you know, especially because you're letting someone close to your business. You know, fortunately for you, you have friends who you can trust to say, you know, she and I did my sister, and Dyon and I were at a vending event together, and I think you ran off to get lunch, and I was there, so you could walk away, you know, and that's not always the case. You have to maybe ask somebody else, can you wash my table, and you don't always feel good about that. But at a place now where you're able to acknowledge, I want my business to grow, but in order for it to grow, I recognize that God's going to have to send me people.
Send me lots of people that mean well for me,
and that are trustworthy.
Let's touch and agree.
That are trustworthy, and that you know really share her vision, because her business is not just about jewelry. It's so much more. It's a multifaceted effort, and so I'm just excited for all that it encompasses, even the things that you've shared, the new things that are going to be happening and blossoming and growing.
Yes, Lord.
That hopefully she'll share with y'all at some point, but that's not my business to share.
Not right now. Not right now.
I'm just excited for the opportunities that are coming your way. And I guess from the therapist piece, for all of us, regardless of what our profession is, it's kind of innate. You know, like even when you were setting up today, your teacher mode really came on real strong. I mean, it just really, it really had turned on. I mean, it is who you are. So I mean, it is what it is.
I don't even know when and how.
Who we are, you know, if you're operating in your gift and you're fortunate enough for your gift to be what you make money off of, it kind of just wells up out of you all the time, and you're not even always aware of it. And so you were able to speak so easily about the finances and then the health and transition into the healthcare and all of that, and your pampering and self-care, which all of us probably need to.
And we're gonna get to that in a minute.
So yeah.
Yeah, I want to share this really funny story because Shayla got me in trouble at work. I'm telling you, she been getting me in trouble since 1993. So I get cold really easily, right? And
listen to me.
And at work, I was telling her at my new job that it's cold, and I was sitting under the vent, and the air was coming out right on my head. So I would sit at work with my hoodie on over my head, and I'm on the computer typing and whatever. And she said, "Well, I have this cape that you put it on, and it buttons up, and you plug it in the computer, and it keeps you nice and warm." I was like, "Yes, that sounds so good." So I got all excited. So she gave me this cape. I was like, "Girl, you didn't tell me it was like a fur." So she gives me this cape, and I put it on, and you know it plugs up, and I'm around the office. I unplug the part because one part can stay plugged in, and you unplug it from the thing. So I'm sashaying around the office. Everybody was like, "Why you got a fur on walking around the office? You got a fur blanket?" So then my friend's mom bought me this watch for my birthday. So I'm like, "Girl, I got my rollie and my fur." I'm like Donna Ross up in here, and I'm posing. And they're like, "You doing too much. You doing?" I was like, "Blame it on Shayla."
She wanted to wear that fur this evening.
I was gonna bring it for
all of y'all.
I was gonna bring it for demonstration purposes, and when I texted her today, she said it's a no. So I left it at the office, just so y'all know. But this is just how she takes care of some of my needs. She felt like, you know, that was something that would be beneficial to keep me warm, and it has been keeping me warm.
And made her a little more vain.
No, not vain, just warm. Just warm.
Warm.
I just sashay around the office with my fur. And I don't need Peter and all y'all coming after me. It's not real fur, y'all. It's just like the fleece kind of. Anyway, whatever. I like relax. It feels good. I'm trying to tell you, especially when the neck part heat up real good. Jesus, hallelujah. Speaking of feeling real good, Natasha, tell them how you be blessing my feet, especially when they were swollen. Bless God for her.
So
yes.
I have a handmade soap that I make, and it helps with those that have like swollen feet or, you know, different lymphatic things that's going on. And so not only does, you know, it allows people that comes in to have pain and things going on with their feet, it also helps to soften the feet. The aromatherapies of the essential oils that I use inside of it also helps to de-stress you as well as to relax you and deal with your pain all at the same time.
Can you remember like the first time I came in and when my feet were so swollen that I couldn't even stand you touching them? Like I remember that experience like it was yesterday because I was terrified coming. I was like, I don't think I should come, but they hurt real bad and my toes were terrible. I need to get a pedi. So, I mean, even though I was hurting y'all, I was like, I need my toes done. You know, I was like, it's summertime. At least I got a little cute.
Yeah, so she came and, you know, got her all set up and, you know, she said, you know, I don't need the massage chair. And I was like, you know, that's fine. Here's the switch. Do whatever it is that you need to do for you. And, you know, just to have the aromatherapies going around the room and just lightly touch. You know, you can, you know, still give a pedicure, but not, you know, do all the exfoliation and everything like that. So, you know, you gotta, you know, pay attention to your guests and your friends when they come over into your spa area and to make them feel, you know, good about themselves as well. And so, you know, she wanted to pay that day. And I was like, girl, go ahead. You got your toes done. And she was like, no, I got to pay. Like, you know, I've been bugging you about coming to get my feet done. I'm here. And I was like, well, how about if I just feed you? You know, and that'll be an even exchange. And she was like, well, how? Because you feed me and you. And And I was like, yeah, okay. So I pampered her and made her real relaxed, and she was walking a little bit better when she left, and she had great laughter while she was there. So, all the time it's not about how we touch our friends or our customers with finances. It's about, pouring into someone when they really need you the most. And so it was always a great experience.
I didn't understand. I mean, I was so overcome with emotions. Y'all know I be crying and stuff all the time. I was just like, what is she doing? Like, I'm trying to pay for, services, and my feet felt so good. My legs, like, when I tell you, at that time, I had to wear compression stockings. That's how bad my feet and my legs were swollen. Yeah, I was limping. My doctor had prescribed compression stockings, and it was crazy because I couldn't even go to the pharmacy to pick them up. I gave my mom the prescription because it wasn't a regular pharmacy. Right. It was actually the pharmacy where older people go. So I gave my mom the prescription and my card and whatever, and she went and picked them up because I couldn't even stand in line. It was around the time when I couldn't even go in the grocery store. I gave my mom the list. When she got to the register, I went in and swiped my card and paid for my stuff. So to be able to go to someone who I trust, I'm not saying my feet are ugly. They're not. They're pretty, in my opinion. I'm just saying. But someone who I trust and say, look, this is what I got going on, and to be able to walk out feeling a little bit better, it felt really good. And when she said, I can't take your money, I was like, what? So it was a blessing throughout the process to be able to say, all right, I'm coming. Can you fit me in? And she never said no. It didn't matter when. She never said no. So the blessing to be able to have friends who can set me straight in all areas, and all three of them will pray you down and shout you down and make sure that I'm telling you, they don't play about me. And I brag differently. I don't know how you brag about your friends. I can't tell you what to do about your friends, but I brag differently when it comes to them and a few others. And I'm just so grateful to be able to have that kind of support, because I recognize that a lot of people don't. And I get that a lot when I go on Facebook and the lupus groups, where I see people, talk about not having people to support them in the things that they're going through. And I see the people in my life and I'm like, it's different. So I'm grateful for y'all even taking time out of your schedule to come and sit down with me and have this conversation. Continue to do what you do, not just for me, but for everyone. You guys are in the helping profession, and I know that takes a lot out of you. God bless y'all. God bless y'all.
Can I just say, and I think it's the characteristic for us here, and I'm sure for others in your group, that for those who are the support system, it's important that you ask how you can be a help. And not just make the assumption that I'm going to do this to help you because this looks like what you need, from me being on the outside. Because in most cases, I don't believe that any of us here know what it feels like in our bodies to have lupus. And so I don't always know what type of help will be most helpful for you. And so, I can't tell you the last time I would think to give my friend like a heated shock. Like, that just ain't. But or different things, or can I go to the store for you? Can I, different things that over the years Dyon has shared with myself and the ladies here and her other friends. But I do think that it's important that for anybody going through anything, your friend should ask how they can be of help and not make the assumption that this is, or presume that this is what you need.
Or don't say, call me if you need anything, because I'm never going to call you, ever.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
Yeah,
I do call her nightly and check in.
Yes, she does.
Every night I call and make sure she's
That's
good.
a good point for people who are used to being the go-to person, and then when they get ill or have a financial challenge or whatever, like they don't even think to be the person to reach out and ask for help. They rather try and figure it out or suffer through it or whatever. And I think that was a good point that, like, I think we all need to be a little bit more perceptive of the people in our circle, because the strong ones aren't gonna ask.
And also too, if when we call, to say, to be real, like we're gonna still be here wherever, you be like, no, I need no help, don't come to my, we're gonna still come. So even when someone does call, sometimes as women we can put on this macho face, but we as queens, we know what we go through in our own personal lives. But it's okay that if we just so happen to call and you're like in super pain, you know, I don't care what time of day or night it is, I'll get up and come.
Girl, don't say that, because I be up 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to end right there. I'm going to call you. Reggie going to be mad, but I'm going to call you. But thank you all so much for joining us. I really appreciate your support. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. And I'm going to have these ladies' information below. That way you can support them as well. Okay, so I just heard thunder and lightning, and that's not okay with my spirit. So thank you so much. I'm going to end there. I can't take it no more because the way my panic just... Okay, anyway. God bless y'all. Thank you so much for joining us.